So, in addition to the Trump administration defunding Columbia University, they have also apprehended one of these student protesters. So, it looks like we're going to have our first student deportation. Looks like our first person who was here legally as a permanent resident, but who expressed wrong think about Israel Palestine. It seems like they are deportation bound unless the courts can intervene. So, Writers Against the War on Gaza tweets breaking last night. Agents from the Department of Homeland Security abducted Mahmoud Khalil, a Palestinian student activist and recent Columbia University graduate, from his place of residence. He is currently being held in ICE detention. So this is the press release from Writers Against the War on Gaza. Columbia University student activist detained by Department of Homeland Security following threats of deportation of pro-Palestinian students. The arrest comes on the heels of the Department of State's announcement that it plans to deport students affiliated with pro-Palestine protests. The student, who is Palestinian, is a lawful permanent resident of the United States. On March 8th, Department of Homeland Security agents arrested Mahmoud Khalil, a Palestinian activist and recent graduate student at Columbia University, at his place of residence, an apartment building owned by the university. The DHS agents said that the U.S. Department of State had revoked Khalil's green card. At approximately 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Khalil and his wife, a U.S. citizen who is 8 months pregnant, had just unlocked the door to their building when two plainclothes DHS agents forced their way in behind them. The agents initially refused to identify themselves, instead asking Khalil to confirm his identity before detaining him without explanation. The agents proceeded to threaten his wife, telling her that if she remained by his side, they would arrest her too. Later, the DHS agents stated that the U.S. Department of State had revoked Khalil's student visa, despite the fact that he has a green card, not a visa, and is a lawful permanent resident.
Right. He's married to a U.S. citizen.
Yeah. No, this is just blatantly illegal. So anybody who wants to say that these people are not fascists and that the people who support this are not fascists can just eat shit. Like this, they are clearly fascists. That is exactly what these people are. And anybody who signs off on this is a fucking fascist themselves. I'm sorry if that hurts people's feelings. I didn't soft pedal it with the libs. I'm sure as hell not going to soft pedal it with these fucking pieces of shit who would advocate for a policy like this. An agent showed Khalil what he claimed was a warrant on his phone. Khalil's wife went into their apartment to retrieve his green card while the agents remained with Khalil downstairs. When she returned, advising them of Khalil's legal status and presenting them with Khalil's green card, one agent was visibly confused and said on the phone, "He has a green card." However, after a moment, the DHS agent stated that the State Department had, quote, revoked that too. Khalil's wife then phoned his attorney, who spoke with the agents in an attempt to intervene. When Khalil's attorney requested that a copy of the warrant be emailed to her, the agent hung up the call.
What?
Khalil is currently being detained in U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody at 26 Federal Plaza, pending an appearance before an immigration judge. So Dropsite News had the reporting on this as well. Now, Dropsite also, we just did a segment on this. Columbia University just created this shady, secretive new office that investigated students without their knowledge. They investigated students, and then for students who wanted to inquire as to why they were being investigated, what specifically about their pro-Palestine protest they were being investigated for, they had to sign gag orders that they weren't allowed to talk about this. So a lot of this just kind of happened in secret, and now this blows up in this guy's face when hopefully it's not too late, but the wheels are already in motion, and this obviously looks horrible. So they had the reporting breaking DHS detains lead negotiator of Columbia Gaza Solidarity Encampment after online campaign by pro-Israel groups. Yes, he was very active in these protests. He is being held at an ICE detention facility. Now, Dropsite apparently reached out to the Department of Homeland Security. So they update this with a tweet. In a response to Dropsite, DHS stated, "You need to reach out to the White House." they know that this is blatantly illegal. Blatantly
Right.
illegal.
Right.
And so the People's Forum says last night DHS agents abducted Mahmoud Khalil, a Palestinian student activist and recent Columbia graduate, from his home. He is now in ICE detention. We demand his immediate release. You can sign the petition if you go to our Twitter. So that's x.com/due dissidents. It is the pinned tweet in our profile. So you can sign that petition as well. I obviously urge you all to do so. But what a nightmare. What a nightmare. The guy's here legally. His wife is 8 months pregnant. And now he is facing deportation. Deportation. Just his life completely upended by these absolute Nazi fascists with no regard for the law, due process, nothing. Even the agents know that this is illegal.
Right. Right.
Even they knew it as soon as he said he had a green card, according to that printout that they put out. That reaction says it all. Oh, he has a green card.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we do now? And then when a media outlet reaches out to DHS, they say you're going to have to ask the White House, because ultimately this just comes from an executive branch that is just, or I should say, not even the executive branch, but just more, yes, like specifically the White House, that is just completely out of control. And this is why, I said all along, because I know that the issue of immigration and the border was a very hot button issue this campaign season. And one of the reasons I was, insistent that we should oppose mass deportations from the start is because it's not going, the idea that this is going to be limited to criminal immigrants was always fucking absurd. They were always going to abuse it to take it to levels like this. And now here you are, the first victim of just, like I said, a blatantly illegal deportation. People here on student visas have First Amendment rights. It's not, well, why should you be here? You hate the country.
He's not even on a student visa.
No,
he's married
on a
to
green
a U.S.
card.
citizen.
Yes.
He has a green card.
It's a legal permanent
not
resident.
allowed. This is a great example of, I didn't speak for the trade unionists because I was not a trade unionist.
Right, exactly.
Like that once you,
that's what I said.
Once you turn a blind eye to the government just disregarding legal processes, what makes you think you're not vulnerable? Are you a billionaire? Are you in a position where you can buy your way out of trouble? Well,
right,
then you're vulnerable, sunshine.
Right. And what makes me lose my mind about this is that these are the same people that aren't going to stand up for this guy and say that this is outrageous and unacceptable and abuse of power, violation of the First Amendment, of all of our laws, of due process. These are the same people that were screeching and wailing over Donald Trump not getting his due process. Right. Because if it could happen to him, it could happen to you. So it's like you guys are concerned when a rich guy's in trouble. But you're not concerned when a regular person who isn't powerful, who isn't rich, who isn't famous, who wasn't the president, this happens to him. No, this is the person that all you people screeching about Trump and his due process should be focused on. People like this who don't have power. Trump doesn't need your help. It's like, where are the lawyers? Where are the lawyers? Where are the lawyers? Where's the ACLU? Okay. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Fire just put out a statement about this.
Fire's been very good on this.
They put out a statement about this earlier in the evening. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a major struggle here, because this is, there was no question it was going to happen. I knew Trump wasn't bluffing when he said they're going to deport student protesters who are not, like I said, in this case, he's married to an American citizen. So this is an extreme example by the standards of what we could expect. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, this is exactly what they are going to do. And this is just, this undoes this single act really, just undermines any free speech argument you can make on behalf of these people. This is just as outrageous a violation of the First Amendment as you could possibly think of. What if he was criticizing his own government? Is he allowed to criticize America in America? Yeah, you wouldn't deport him for criticizing America.
Well, but that's next. That's next. From the day they passed the Patriot Act, I've been saying eventually they're going to start to use that to accuse domestic protest and political activists of being terrorists. And
Yep.
these are just the guys to do it.
Yep. With absolutely zero respect for civil liberties, absolutely zero respect for the First Amendment, zero respect for the right to dissent. They don't believe in the right to object to your government. They really don't.
No.
They don't have any recognition of that whatsoever.
Please clap.